But in the heart of the village, as lanterns flickered against the creeping night fog, hushed whispers carried on the wind. They say the dead are walking again. At night you can hear it, a strange rhythmic hopping that echoes through the empty streets. And with that sound comes a chilling dread, for they say these things drain the very life from you. The air grows heavy, the bamboo groves sway with an unnatural rhythm, and the distant hoot of an owl sounds like a warning. Fear is a palpable thing here, etched onto the faces of every villager huddled behind their doors. Driven by the growing panic, a young man named Li Wei ventured into the thick bamboo forest. The fog so dense he could barely see his own hands, but the silence was eerie, a stark contrast to the villagers' fearful murmurs. Suddenly, his foot caught on something, sending him tumbling to the damp earth. He looked back, his heart pounding in his chest. It was a body, stiff and unnatural, its limbs locked in a rigid pose. As Li Wei leaned closer, a faint, sickly light began to glow from the corpse's eyes. "What is this?" Before he could process the horror, the sharp snap of a bamboo stalk echoed nearby, and he scrambled back, his mind racing. Li Wei carried his terrifying discovery to the small hut of Mei Lin, the village herbalist. The air inside was thick with the scent of dried herbs and burning incense. Mei Lin, her face a mask of ancient wisdom, examined the body under the flickering candlelight. "This," she said, her voice low and grave, "is a Jiangshi, a restless dead, animated by dark energies, forever cursed to seek out and drain the life force of the living." Li Wei, shaken but resolute, asked the only question that mattered. "How do I stop it?" Mei Lin produced a small, yellow paper talisman covered in cinnabar script. "Take this," she urged. "It will offer you some protection, but be warned, this creature is not just a mindless corpse, it is cunning." That night, the whispers turned to screams. The village streets, usually quiet, became a hunting ground. Shadows danced and twisted in the lantern light before a figure emerged from the fog, but it moved with a stiff, unsettling hop, its arms outstretched, its face pale and lifeless. The Jiangshi was here. Villagers scattered in terror, their cries echoing off the wooden walls. "Run, it's coming." Li Wei, clutching the talisman from Mei Lin, saw the creature bearing down on an elderly man. With a defiant shout, he yelled, "Get back!" and placed himself between the monster and its prey, the small paper talisman glowing faintly in his hand. The talisman offered a moment's reprieve, but Li Wei knew it wasn't a permanent solution. Mei Lin had told him of one last hope, an old monk who lived in an abandoned temple high in the mountains, a keeper of ancient knowledge. Li Wei began the arduous climb, following a treacherous rocky path as fog swirled around him like lost spirits. At the temple, he found the monk waiting, surrounded by scrolls that seemed to hum with latent power. The old man's eyes were calm, as if he had been expecting him. "To trap a Jiangshi," he explained, "you must perform the ritual of talismans and bamboo strikes. It is the only way to sever its connection to this world." Li Wei looked at the ancient texts, his resolve hardening. I'm ready. Following the monk's instructions, Li Wei found a clearing in the bamboo forest. He worked through the twilight, chanting the incantations from the ancient scrolls. The words felt strange on his tongue, resonating with a power he didn't understand. He carefully placed each glowing talisman on the ground, forming a large, perfect circle. As he set the final one, a low, mystical hum filled the air, and the wind began to howl through the bamboo, as if the forest itself was holding its breath, waiting for the inevitable confrontation. The trap was set. As if summoned by the ritual, the Jiangshi emerged from the fog, its glowing eyes fixed on Li Wei. It hopped forward, faster and more aggressively than before. The final battle had begun. Li Wei, armed with bamboo sticks imbued with talismanic magic, met the creature's charge. He dodged its stiff, lunging attacks, the air growing cold wherever it passed. A pale, ethereal mist seemed to flow from the Jiangshi, a visible manifestation of the life force it craved. Li Wei struck back, his bamboo sticks connecting with the creature's body. Each time they made contact, the talismans wrapped around them flared with a brilliant light, a sizzle of mystical energy echoing through the forest. The fight was a desperate dance of evasion and attack, a test of courage against an unholy terror. The Jiangshi, relentless and powerful, seemed unstoppable. But Li Wei, remembering the monk's words, guided the creature step by agonizing step toward his trap. With one final, desperate push, he forced the hopping corpse into the center of the glowing circle of talismans. Instantly, the symbols flared to life, creating a cage of brilliant, golden light. The Jiangshi shrieked, a sound not of this world, as it thrashed against the invisible barrier. It struggled violently, but the sacred power held it fast. Slowly, its form began to disintegrate, its body crumbling into dust, until nothing remained but a pile of old robes on the forest floor. As the wind died down, villagers cautiously emerged from their hiding places, their faces a mixture of terror and relief. It's over, Li Wei breathed, exhausted, but Meilin, placing a hand on his shoulder, added a somber warning. It's over. For now. The dead never rest for long. We must stay vigilant. As the sun began to rise, its first rays cut through the lifting fog, bringing with it the promise of a new day. The village, bathed in the soft morning light, seemed peaceful once more. Li Wei and Mei Lin stood on a hillside, looking out at the horizon, a shared silence between them. The nightmare was over. But in the far distance, almost lost in the last wisps of morning mist, a faint, shadowy figure could be seen hopping away, unnoticed. A soft, ominous chord hangs in the air, a whisper that this is only the beginning.